ChatGPT 5 has just been released. So in this episode of the Lifestyle Entrepreneur podcast, I'm going to be reviewing over ChatGPT 5. We're going to watch their introduction videos right now. And we're also going to talk about their two main upgrades, which is ChatGPT for business and ChatGPT for computer coders or developers, and like building software is that honestly is not really for coders or developers. It's for entrepreneurs like ourselves that can use this to grow businesses and make more money. So without further ado, let's watch. Flagship model. Okay. Oh my God, can we just rewind this here to looking at this, projecting out your business model, given different scenarios in churn and showing you what that graph looks like? That's mind blowing. That's like what you hire fractional CFOs to do. Wow. No way. Okay, custom bubble colors. That's a nice little touch. Okay, so it looks exciting. I'm not going to watch the full hour thing on this show here, but we are going to jump into the OpenAI for business and review over the highlights on how ChatGPT is going to help you make more money in your business and work less. Which, by the way, is what we're about here on the Money with Mark YouTube channel, which if you're listening to this on Spotify, you should subscribe to my YouTube channel.
We are excited to introduce you to GPT-5, our most capable model yet. GPT-5 figures out how hard to think, which tools to use, and suggests next steps to help you get your work done. The first thing you'll notice is the model picker. No more hunting for the right model. GPT-5 adjusts the reasoning effort depending on the task. Let's test it out by going from customer feedback to prototyping new features for our travel app over the next few minutes. Type in a simple prompt like asking for help understanding customer feedback, and you'll get a very fast and considered response. GPT-5 already knows that it needs additional data to get this work done and has asked me to provide the information it requires.
This is awesome. This is what I've been waiting for ChatGPT to introduce, which is not just running with your prompt and making a bunch of assumptions that turn out to be wrong or just like making up a bunch of stuff, but actually coming back to you and asking you for specific input that it needs in order to give you the best results.
I'll upload the customer feedback. As you can see, it's pretty messy and contains multiple tabs. GPT-5 is much stronger at data analysis though, so we've got this covered. We'll ask for a stack ranking exercise with some charts and tables. The task is pretty complex, so GPT-5 switches to deeper reasoning to get it right. GPT-5 uses its improved coding capabilities to analyze the data and hunt for new trends and themes. In no time at all, we now have detailed charts outlining its findings, as well as our stack ranking. The model made sure to clearly explain its methodology so that we can understand how it drew these conclusions and make sure that we trust the work it's completed. It's given us some quick prototyping ideas, as well as a guide on how to build a roadmap and even propose some next steps. Next, we can build a product requirements document along with a couple user stories. What you'll notice here is that GPT-5's writing is quite refined. It also respects your guidance on tone and style. You'll see a few less M dashes as well.
Did you hear that? GPT-5 is apparently going to use a few less M dashes, which maybe means they haven't figured it out. Let's put that to the test right now. Okay, I'm going to go in. This is GPT-5 right now. This is my main GPT that I use. Let's give it a blog post. Just random prompt here. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we still have M dashes. And I've changed this everywhere. I've changed this in my account settings. I've changed this in my GPT instructions. I've even had multiple chats with ChatGPT and told it to remember multiple times to never give me a response with these M dashes in here, which are just telltale sign of ChatGPT and being used. Still, it's showing us the M dashes. Like the fact that OpenAI is releasing ChatGPT 5, their flagship model, but they can't get rid of the M dashes. How smart is this thing? It's clearly not smart enough to realize that nobody wants these M dashes.
This time, GPT-5 suggests we build a wireframe, so we'll ask for an interactive prototype to bring it to life. Right away, it's open Canvas and starts getting to work writing code. GPT-5 has made huge leaps forward in front-end coding, and you can go from idea to workable prototype in just a single prompt. GPT-5's close instruction following means you can also continue iterating after the first version is complete. Let's go ahead and preview this. Here, we've got an interactive prototype with a strong starting design. I can
Wow. This, from one prompt, is building you an actual feature, like a functioning software from just one prompt that you can then preview, test it out in literally seconds. This is mind-blowing.
I can add a trip, click into the details, or edit travel policies. It's simple yet powerful so that anyone can start prototyping. And GPT-5 is even suggesting next steps and potential improvements to make our work even stronger. To wrap up, I'll ask for an easy-to-read exec summary with charts and tables. GPT-5 has now guided us all the way from analyzing customer feedback to building a working prototype. It helped uncover next steps, delivered reliable, thorough answers, and even built us this executive memo with our findings. No need to pick the right model, to choose the right tools, or to be a prompting expert. ChatGPT, powered by GPT-5, is now an expert partner helping you and your team to do your best work.
Wow. Okay. GPT-5 seems like it might just be built for coders and built for developers or built for entrepreneurs that want to build software without coding at all. Let's take a look at the developer video of ChatGPT 5.
Well, thank you so much for coming here today. We brought you all here to test GPT-5. You're one of the first people externally to see it and to get your hands on it. Your first task here on Dev Island is to open up ChatGPT with Canvas and switch to GPT-5 thinking and create a personal website.
Oh, it's dark and pink, but it is quite girly, so happy with that. Yours is cuter.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What?
Let's see what you got.
I said Mac OS 9 themes. Yeah.
Nice
so
prompting.
it actually has some windows here. This is one-shotted. That's actually pretty cool.
I've got it to build me a drawing app where I can draw
Oh, you're
draw
already
on
on
mouse,
step 5.
and it gives me an SVG of the drawing as it goes.
All right, let's move on to individual testing. You're welcome to test the model, do whatever you want with it, build your own app with it, put it in your existing apps if you like, see how it works for you. Please have at it.
There's the legendary ball test. It's a fun test of physics and its knowledge of Python and like weird game mechanics. Yeah, that's one of the best ball tests I've seen to date.
So, I've got my classic Pelican SVG benchmark where I ask it to draw me a picture of a pelican riding a bicycle. What I've never done before though is had it do that in a loop. So it draws the pelican, then looks at what it's drawn and has another go.
So
I made this like little platformer. It's just like probably like 3 prompts, and I haven't touched the code at all. So that's been pretty cool. You have to like kind of stomp on the enemies. I'm not very good at this game.
Wow. 3 prompts, and he built a fully functioning, mind you, basic, but video game from 3 prompts. That's absolutely mind-blowing.
So since I added the lava, I've not beat the game yet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make some adjustments in order to actually beat it. Keep dying.
I'm coming to it from a practical user point of view in trying to solve an actual problem with this model. What set of problems would I solve? What's the experience?
The original ball prompt was way too easy, so I gave it a significantly harder one. It went a little crazy with it, but it doesn't have many opinions of its own. Steering it makes it do what you tell it to.
I do like how the Pelican's feet are on the pedals. That's a rare detail that most of the other models I've tried this on have missed.
I'm taking my product ChatGPT, which is an AI for product managers, and I'm updating the key parts to use the new model. And then I'm comparing inputs and outputs.
The first time, it really nailed all the mechanics, and then it kind of like visually wasn't that interesting, so I just said make it look better. And it added like mountains, it added stars, it added gradients, added like some bloom effects.
The point is that GPT-5 is more agentic. Let's see what it does. So this is make a tic-tac-toe game, and this is O3. It does a pretty basic tic-tac-toe game. This is the same prompts with GPT-5. It's a lot more flashy. It's got sound. And an AI, which I mean, it just beat me. We're gonna draw. Oh, I lost again.
I'd love to hear what you feel about GPT-5.
It ran so fast that I didn't think it was actually running the tests.
You know, we had like 30 minutes. I made a personal website. I have like a platformer game. Like I like used it a bunch to improve like our actual app. Like it's a pretty like insane amount of stuff.
I have this Chrome extension I've been working on. I primarily focus on agentic coding, so I want to just test the maximum capability. I think it was much better than other models in terms of adding telemetry, using those telemetry to make inferences, and then fixing those bugs. I think that was the key breakthrough.
I dumped the documentation for my own little Python library for working with LLMs into it, and then told it to build me a script based on this documentation that runs my Pelican benchmark in a loop. The bicycle was flawless. Even today, most models have trouble drawing bicycles because most humans have trouble drawing bicycles.
The thing that stood out the most to me was it kind of just did what you told it to, and it wouldn't insert its own things. The system prompt really shapes the behavior.
Wouldn't insert its own things, like M dashes, which I just proved are still showing in ChatGPT 5.
It is an engineer, like you read the outputs, it's exceptional at code generation. I also had the same experience that on the front end, none of the current models I think have good taste. They all do like AI slop aesthetic, and this one actually kind of one-shotted things that I thought looked nice from a front end perspective.
It's really good at Tailwind and like good styles. I just handed it an ugly app and said, make this less ugly. The first try did that really well. Yeah. So it's unopinionated except for gradients and making your websites look nice. Yeah, it's very tasteful with design, I found in general.
When I had it do this little like drawing app, and it like implemented a color picker, and the color picker like worked, and then it had like a thickness slider, and the thickness slider like worked. Like usually I don't see that. When I was making a platformer game, at some point I said like add a jetpack. It added a jetpack, but I had to actually pick up the jetpack, and it like added like a little fuel level. That's pretty cool.
Up until very recently, I've had zero trust in these things. I know that they will hallucinate, all sorts of made up. So I love feeding in raw source code and asking for documentation without giving it any of the existing documentation. And it nailed it. It gave me the exact information I needed. It gave me a full architectural overview. It was clearly very good at consuming 250,000 tokens of Rust. Because for me as a sort of consummate code reviewer, my trust issues are beginning to fall away, yeah.
He's saying GPT-5 is so good he's turning into a vibe coder. That's what I heard.
There we go, that's exactly it.
As a product builder, that was my exact takeaway as well. I was like, this is the first one I would trust to go wild in a pretty large code base.
As an AI collaborative coder, you can actually trust it as a coworker. Like, I think that's ultimately what all of us want.
It's definitely by engineers for engineers. Highly technical, exceptional, instructable, can execute, solves the hard problems. Everybody needs one of these on their team.
Any other parting?
This is incredible. I think ChatGPT 5 was specifically released for developers. And I'm going to put it to the test. I'm going to, my very next YouTube video. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure that you go to YouTube, search for Money with Mark, and subscribe to me on YouTube. And I'm going to try creating an actual software tool that I currently pay for in my business. And I want it to build it for me and use it for free. But I want to go one step beyond what you see with these demo videos, because I think that's a big block for non-coders like myself, where I know enough about tech to be dangerous, but I also can't build my things. So I want to be able to take it out of ChatGPT Canvas and deploy it to like my actual website on my servers as like a link in my actual website as a tool and resource for me and my team to actually use. So that's gonna be my test. If you want to see that video, subscribe to Money with Mark, and I'll see you in the next video.